What's going on, fam? How you been? How was your Thanksgiving? Those of you all who are not on Patreon, how was your Thanksgiving? Did you enjoy it? I absolutely hope you did. I hope you had a wonderful time. I hope there were no fights, no kerfuffles, none of that. I hope there was none of that. I got stuff everywhere, boy. None of that, but I had a good one. I hope you all had a wonderful one as well. It was so much that I wanted to come in here and talk about, but could not talk about because I had said I was not going on. I wasn't going to go on live, so I did not. but we still have some things we have to talk about, some stuff that was missed, ladies and gentlemen, some stuff that was missed. And, shout out to everybody. Shout out to the Somalians. Let me stop. Somebody I read it. Listen, listen. People gonna learn. People solidarity. Y'all was slaves, and we gonna act this way. This on this thing on Clubhouse. We're gonna do this. Well, let's see. Some of this stuff everybody's gonna learn. Oh no, America isn't this bad. Y'all just don't really want to work, and y'all just too lazy, and you don't want to do nothing, and you don't. Okay. Stay away from them vans. Stay away. Just stay away. Let me push my little laptop back. Stay away from them. That's all you do. Take care of yourself. You don't need none of that. You don't need to be doing all that kind of stuff. But we told you, we be in solidarity. We don't need you. We work hard. Isn't that what Ilhan Omar said in that little thing where she got caught? We work hard, and they just jealous of us. Well, now you find yourself in quite a pickle. But anyway, let me stop, y'all, because before they start calling me stuff again. But I think we have to talk about something, right? Dog, left the paperweight up there too. Oh, and doing stuff. But something I want to talk about real quick, y'all. It ain't gonna take a long time, but we got to talk about it regardless. Also last week, while I was on Thanksgiving vacation, hope y'all, like I said, had good macaroni and cheese, good turkey, good dressing, stuffing, whatever you want to call it, green beans, potatoes, salad, yams. We got I hope y'all had a great time. Now, I hope nobody ran off with the turkey. Strange things happen. I hope there were no fights, like I said, no kerfuffle. But listen, one of the things that happened last week was this whole thing about the unmasking of all these accounts. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see all these accounts that got unmasked and we thought they was in America? Elon, listen. Something else happened on that day, or right before the day that Elon pulled back all the masks of all the people. If you go back, you can look. Billionaires just don't do stuff just because they know, well, it's just something, the integrity. Y'all don't care about integrity. I wake up to 25 bot accounts every day talking to me about 10,000 different things. Y'all don't care about integrity, but you care about the fact that you were unmasking this to show everybody. Even before Elon bought this thing, the Twitter has been used as a psyop, and it has not been used as a psyop on behalf of ADOS. We were the victims. There were people infiltrating what we were doing, and I'm not talking about bots back then. I'm talking about right now. Right? I'm talking about all these people who put up these accounts and we found out they were supposed to be right around the corner from us or whatever, and they wasn't. They were supposed to be, I'm down, I'm Black American, and I just rock with whatever. No, There was a whole lot of stuff going on. Now, the most interesting thing about this whole narrative, it's so interesting to me. There's so much that's interesting about this to me. There is so much that's interesting. Let me just show y'all, if you weren't around, what we're talking about. Influencer X accounts try to defend their U.S. patriotism, despite having never set foot in the country. Listen, there were foreign actors. At least we know they are now. And we know that they were here pre-MAGA, right? The whole MAGA thing was a psyop this is an allegation, and I believe what I believe. Once Elon bought Twitter, he used this whole thing as a psyop to change. If they change the For You page, it changes everything. And that's enough to change how you feel about a thing. And it's enough to make people think that MAGA is bigger than it is. Now, rewind back to ADOS. It's enough to make you think that, remember the hashtag, ADOS is trash. All of a sudden, Somalians are garbage and we all got to be in solidarity. But when y'all called us trash, it wasn't no problem, huh? That's very interesting. It's very interesting to me. But back then, pre-Twitter, they were using it. They were doing the same thing. We couldn't get nobody kicked off Twitter. We couldn't do nothing. All the stuff that was going on, we could not get nothing done. And they were saying that we were bots and we were out trolls and all this stuff, and they had zero evidence of it. And ain't nobody apologized still to this day. Nobody said, Yvette, I'm sorry. I'm stupid, Yvette. I was stupid, and I apologize for it. I wouldn't tell nobody that you said you were stupid because you were stupid. It's okay. It's okay to admit the truth about yourself. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I remember this all back in the days. You had all kind of D-list actresses going around talking about ADOS is trash, ADOS is bots. No evidence. Nothing but a washed-up rapper who went around talking trash. She over there, Blue Sky, now yelling too. No apology from nobody. See, it turns out, and we've always known, there are a lot of people who owe us a lot of apologies. Because we said back then, hey, we don't know who these bots are, who these foreign actors are, but it's not us. We're actual people. We're actual humans in the world. Now, I have brushed up against some accounts that are bot accounts, but they're flex bank accounts, the 2025. They're not mine. It's just like this whole Drake thing that keeps going back and forth, the Drake and the bots and the Kendrick and the bots. People have these bot factories that they use to do things. They're not us. And the foreign actors who were overwhelmingly pro-MAGA were not us. This is something that was put together by people. This Twitter, this bird account, it has always been used. It just used to be used mostly on behalf of Democrats. That's what I feel like. And they didn't want to hear nothing we had to say, so we were bots. Then when Elon bought it, he used this big thing on behalf of Republicans. That's why you see all of these hateful accounts that hate ADOS, right? All these hateful accounts, oh, Black America, blah, 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 blah. Y'all should get jobs. Look at y'all committing crime. All coming out of Germany, Asia, Nigeria, all these places. Oh, I love the unmasking. I wanted to come here and talk about it. I said, no, I promised myself I wouldn't do it on Thanksgiving week, but I wanted to come here and say, you see, things have a way of turning. Things have a way of working themselves out. The truth has a way of asserting itself. You see what just happened? That's what I wanted to say. Don't you see? America was being undermined. It just wasn't by ADOS. And we tried to tell them. Black critics of Kamala Harris and Cory Booker pushed back against claims. Right, y'all remember this? Wait, for y'all of you who haven't been here, remember this. Kamala Harris and Cory Booker pushed back against claims that they're Russian bots. No, not an apology yet. American descendants of slaves identifying themselves with the hashtag ADOS have been openly critical of 2020 presidential candidates Kamala Harris and Cory Booker over the past weeks. Some prominent Black political commentators are now speculating that these critics are Russian bots. Y'all couldn't find the real bots. These people been coming, not just Russian, they've been coming from everywhere. Couldn't find them though, right? Couldn't find them. I got you. I understand. But you not an apology yet. Angela Rye. She's not with CNN anymore. They learned their lesson. See, a CNN political commentator and board member of the Congressional Black Caucus PAC has said she believes that some ADOS arguments are not organic, but were paid for by Russia. She added that she's not saying everyone who uses the hashtag is a Russian bot, but she does believe it originated from Russian bots. It did not, and you have not apologized yet, Angela Rye. You don't apologize to Joe Budden, everybody, but you will not give me my apology. You low down, dirty scoundrel. We have unmasked the actual bots. I have not seen ADOS in that. I have not seen anybody who was around in 2019 either, who was a part of the initial group, and we got plenty of them who has been called a bot. So when are you going to say you are sorry about that with your sorry self? We had a bunch of foreign players, it turns out. They were not us. And we did not originate in Russia. Rye went on to argue that the same is true of critics relating to some stuff around the crime bill. Just a dummy. Circa 2016, presumably referring to critics of Hillary Clinton who questioned her support of the bill and widely understood have to. Child, shut up. Listen, this was organic. See, this is the problem. These people have such a bad relationship. They're so out of touch with their own community that they don't know when something is organic and when it's not, because they don't know regular people no more. You only know a small group. Y'all remember when Angela Rock came outside and say, I don't know what Trump is talking about being poor, because my friend's doing well. My friend do real good. Y'all remember that? You're so out of touch that you don't even understand that these ideas and this way of thinking and these political positions come out of people that you have decided that you don't need to stand next to no more, that you don't need to have nothing to do with no more. That's fine. That's fine, Angela. But if you don't have nothing to do with us no more, if you don't have nothing to do with the grassroots of the regular people, so much so that you don't understand what we're saying and what we're advocating, please don't speak for us. Why don't you go get a nice white job at a nice white company and do something for them? I know DEI is over, but I'm sure you can find something to do. We don't need you to speak for us if you have no relationship with us. And if you misread our genuine advocacy as something out of Russia, you can never represent us. Like, she should never be able to overcome this. And people walk like they've forgotten, like they forgot what you did. I didn't forget what you did. You and your little, hey, knock yourself out over there, that little Native Land podcast. It's a stupid name for a podcast anyway. That's a stupid Native Land. Like, y'all can't get nothing right. You have nothing. And you want to come over here and talk like, and listen, I have a problem with people who do not admit error. Joy Reid was somewhat talking about, 400 years head start. That's even a wrong analogy, Joy Reid. You don't even know enough because you're Congolese and Guyanese. Maybe you shouldn't talk about this. That's what I got in trouble with last week when I said, hey, these are African accounts talking about ADOS. Why aren't you talking about African history? You got 54 countries over there. Why aren't we having a conversation about that? Oh, that you're trying to tell somebody what they can't do. It's free speech. Well, free speech means I get to talk too. Free speech don't just mean you get to talk. Free speech means I get to say what I want to say and you can't do nothing about it. But get somewhere and be quiet because you know I'm right. Joy Reid was up to the same stuff back in the day on a segment of Joy Reid's MSNBC show titled How to Spot a Bot with Shireen Mitchell, founder of Stop Online Violence Against Women, except Yvette apparently, argued that the ADOS hashtag is a way to identify foreign influence. A lot of the ones that are pretending to be black people, black women in particular, who are focusing on black identity, have these sort of aspects in the ways, hey, that wasn't ADOS though. Remember the black Barbie chick they found? I wish I had brought the clip up. There's a black girl Barbie account that is very anti-ADOS male and is always talking about them. That was a foreign account. You accuse us of being the people who just got unmasked and ain't nobody said sorry about nothing. They just unmasked everybody. Her name was like Black Barbie or something. She was always saying something about these Negroes ain't nothing. These Negro men ain't nothing. They deserve everything they get. See how they hate us and they hate. And that was a large following. And it was not in America. I don't know whether the influence was Russian or not, but it was not American. But you pinned all that on us. Wherever Shireen Mitchell is at, you pinned all that on us. Now where are you at to talk about all these unmasking? Where you at, Shireen? You were making it up anyway. Making all that stuff up. And y'all are very lucky that I couldn't check I was so busy during that era where they were lying on us so bad that I didn't even check my DMs as much as I could have, because an attorney reached out to me and said, hey, I would love to take your lawsuit. I didn't even see it till later. Oh, because let me tell y'all something else. The statute of limitations goes out too quick on all this stuff. 2 years ain't enough. That's just too much. It's too quick. I need more than that. Because you just made up something. You went on TV and you made up a thing. There was never any data to support that. To support that it was us. There was never any data. And now that we know who the foreign accounts are, nobody's saying that Russia wasn't playing around online. Ain't nobody saying that. Ain't nobody saying that. Ain't nobody saying that Russia wasn't doing something. But the people who were pretending to be ADOS women, those pretending to be ADOS men, those people, they were not involved in ADOS politics. The people who were pretending to be quote unquote black were involved in politics that were hating on us. That were telling us we needed to work harder. That was saying, go Republicans, you Negroes have had enough. They were despising us, not the other way around. Or they were using our history and information to make money because, Elon has monetized this whole thing. So $20 might not be nothing to you or me. It's something, but it ain't enough to pay no rent or nothing. But it could be something very valuable over there. So they're playing off that too. See, some of this is organized, COINTELPRO 2.0, and some of this stuff is people trying to make money, and some of this stuff is bot forms. It's a lot going on here, but it ain't ADOS. You ain't found one large account there's a fake account coming out of somewhere else and it's an ADOS account. Apologize. Just say, I didn't know what I was talking about. Joy Reid gonna say that a lot of the ones that are pretending to be black people, black women in particular, who are focusing on black identity have these sort of aspects, the ways they're talking about the language, she said. She went on to say that the bots are posing as black Americans using the vernacular or the language of some that believes, she can't even talk, they are a part of our community to claim authority to represent black Americans. Yes, but they were not. They were the ones talking down to us, or they were the ones causing division in the community. They were not trying to unite. The little black Barbie girl, she was always just going off on ADOS men. The other ones, child, it was some pro MAGA accounts on there. It was not us. As a matter of fact, it feels like it was everybody but us. My goodness. Well, it's ridiculous. This is the last quote from this one. I just wanted to jar everybody's memory back to what happened. Carnell told The Intercept that she thinks calling out ADOS is an effort to delegitimize the grassroots movement. They've worked to cultivate and undermine real debate that we have about Kamala Harris within the black community. For years, Moore and Antonio Moore, have been doing regular YouTube and radio shows together where they discuss issues like reparations and the racial wealth divide under the lens of native descendants of American slaves. Yes, that's what it was, and that's still what it is. But you understand how much heat we took because of the lies they told. And then we come to find out where the real bots was coming from. Y'all remember this? We told everybody this. Russia is interfering in the 2020 U.S. presidential election, but not where you might expect. CNN's Clarissa Ward heads to Ghana, where a Russian troll farm has been based, and confronts people on the ground about the operation. This is a never-before-seen look at how Russia is once again influencing the Americans' democracy. But wait a minute. What was the... You found out where the Russian trolls were, and again, no apology. We still have to kind of bear this stain. Huh? I'm just asking. I'm just trying to figure this out. So we found out that the bots were not ADOS, that they were actually, what is my laptop doing? They were actually, what? Ghanaian. They were the Ghanaian troll farm. We found that out, right? And I guess it don't mean nothing. I mean, I would think that's a big deal after you have wrongly accused us. I would think if you are a person with character, you would come and say, listen, the troll farm was in Ghana. We've been knew, like, it didn't take a genius to figure out that some of these troll farms were going to come from Ghana. They were going to come from Nigeria. CNN had reported on that. So what are we even talking about? I'm so sick of y'all. Y'all don't even know how sick I am of these people. These people y'all just walk off. And then be like, I don't know what's going on. Yvette just seemed angry. Well, you don't say. Why would I be angry at you Negroes? You worthless, shiftless Negroes. Why would I be angry at you? What have you ever done to us? Except try to snuff us out in the beginning of the movement and then never apologize, never correct the record, never do anything. I mean, why on earth? Right? Russia is interfering in 2020. Ghana. See, see. Let me just keep going. Then y'all had to accuse us of this mess. Now, I'm not saying that we're not bots. I'm saying it wasn't us. And you never had any evidence that it was us either. That's the other part of the problem. You never had no evidence that pointed to us. None. You were just doing a thing. A dastardly thing is what you were doing. You were doing a thing. So it was one. Kamala Harris says Russian bots are targeting her. Yes, from Ghana. Listen, I saw all kind of people get online. See, the bots, that's the, and see, y'all went and trained the white people. We were trying to talk to them. I can tell y'all bots cause ADOS. I saw that on Joy Reid. That when they is bots, they use the ADOS hashtag. Hey bot, bye bot. Senator Kamala Harris, she was senator then, has claimed her presidential campaign is being targeted on social media by Russian bots. But while U.S. intelligence officials say Russian disinformation campaigns targeting Americans continues, verified evidence of attacks on specific candidates has yet to publicly emerge. That's another problem I never liked about Kamala. She always went for excuses. We're being targeted. Help. We're being targeted by bots. Help us, please. For those of you all who don't know, I'm going to be doing part 2 of that Kamala Harris book. I did part 1 like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. I can't quite remember, but I'm going to try to do part 2 next week at least before Christmas, so we can get that over, because I got 2 new book club books I want to do on Patreon. And I'm trying to get to them quickly. So I've been lagging on this. Other stuff. But here, look. Now this was Donnie O'Sullivan. Twitter tells me the accounts attacking Harris's race were not bots. Because it was us. When we weren't attacking her race, we were saying we were making a specific distinction, a disaggregation distinction. We were not targeting your race. We saw no coordinated use of automation during recent debates. All of that happened, and still everybody just put that on us. And now we still see how Twitter is being used. There is some kind of coordination. There are people on there who are faking. I'm pro-America, MAGA, and they're coming out of one of these Eastern European bloc countries, or they're coming out of Nigeria or Bangladesh or somewhere like that. It ain't us, though. We found out who the real foreign ops were. We found it out. We figured it out. When X started showing all this stuff, we figured it out. So I saw it, Antonio said, look at this. They revealed the thing. And I ran over there and then took it back. And I said, oh, it's been too late. I took it back. And then I came back and it was back again. X launched a feature over the weekend that displays users' locations, renewing scrutiny of the provenance of many accounts, including those that post frequently about American politics. The new feature displays the country or region an account is based in, as well as when it was created and how many times its username was changed. It was announced by Nikita Bier, X's head of product, in a post on social media on Saturday. Right? Okay, great. That was great. So I ran over here to figure out, and I saw a lot of accounts, fam. I saw a lot of accounts doing things that they shouldn't have been doing. So I saw a lot. That was my whole pastime, just going through threads and clicking. Oh, you don't say. You do not say. I felt like Pink Panther. Felt like Pink Panther up in this thing, investigatory. And come to find out, fam, after the feature was launched, online sleuths quickly, that was me. I was an online sleuth. Used it to determine that some accounts that post content supporting President Trump and MAGA are not based in the United States. You know what this also tells me? At any time when ADOS was posting, at any time, these awful people, they could have did it then. They always had the geolocation. They could have said, listen, because I said it's, y'all remember, I said it's Twitter's job. It was Twitter then. I said it's Twitter's job to show us who is a bot. It's their job to uncover this and take these people offline. They could have done this back then. They could have said, listen, we're going to show the geolocations, and you can see who is doing something from Russia or who is using a VPN that's not in the country that they're in. They have a way to see all of this, but nobody came and tried to save us and show, hey, these people are not bots, because, hey, Twitter went from being a tool of Democrats to a tool of Republicans. It went from being a tool of people who wanted to silence us to a tool of people like Elon who wanted to make MAGA look enormous. And part of doing that was to allow fake accounts from all these different countries to flourish, right? Just like before that, fake accounts that were calling us bots were allowed to flourish. And there were probably a bunch of other people there, and they had the evidence to show that it was not us. You could always, if Elon could release that geolocation, if Elon Musk could do that, they could have done it too. It just wasn't in their interest to show that we were not bots. Wasn't in their interest. These people are going against the Democratic Party. Twitter was liberal. Wasn't in their interest. But when Elon done really fell out with Trump and they start talking about NASA contracts and all that stuff, he said, I'm gonna show that your whole thing was a whole psyop too. I'm gonna put all this stuff out. And you gonna do what about it? Listen, one account called MAGA Nation, which has nearly 400,000 followers and posts multiple times a day, is based in Eastern Europe. Other similar accounts are based in places like Thailand, Nigeria, and Bangladesh. The real bots. We saw some Flex's bank account bots that were coming out of Mexico. One of them showed up in my thread talking trash. Child, if you don't go back and deal with whatever you got to deal with, and listen. So I came across this account too, and this is where it really got interesting, because this is the account that posts African and Black history, right? And then when I said, hey, why don't you focus on, because you're in Kenya, and then the thing changed to Africa. They kept changing the thing from Kenya to Africa. I said, well, why don't you post, if this is where you're based, and I'm just going by what I see, why don't you post about African history? And somebody said, oh my God, Yvette, African history is Black history. I said, see, that's the problem with Blackness. That's the problem with this flat Blackness. See, if you are in Africa, if I'm going by what your account says, and you are in Africa, in a country in Africa, I don't care which one. Why are you not posting about your history? Because we already had a Kenyan white president. And let me just say this. We already had one, and it don't make no sense for you to do this, because the truth of the matter is there are not a lot of Kenyans here. I don't even understand how we got a Kenyan white president when Kenyans are so not represented in this country. How do we end up here? Y'all are not even, it's not even a lot of y'all. So not only are you now going through all this stuff where, because it said Kenya and then they changed the VPN to Africa. I don't know, but I'm just saying it's not many of y'all. So why don't you post about, instead of posting about stuff that's here in America, why don't you post about your history? Why don't you post about what goes on? I'm sure there are things in your country that don't get talked about, or in all of the countries, if you want to. Why aren't we talking about that? Why aren't we having a conversation about that? And then they got started. Oh, Yvette, you don't tell nobody what to do. Who is you to tell somebody what they should post about? Well, I have an opinion, though. You see, I have an opinion, and it's okay not to like the opinion, but I get to have it. And these accounts were everywhere. Like, it was, people swear we ain't got no culture. Y'all ain't got no culture. I don't know why y'all try to pretend like y'all got a culture. Y'all ain't got no culture. You need to get back to your roots. But I go to y'all stuff, and y'all are all trying to, it's too many of y'all trying to be ADOS and posting about ADOS stuff. I mean, am I allowed to mute based, now that we have the geolocations, am I allowed to mute based on geolocation so you can't pretend? Like, there's a lot of stuff that Twitter, it'll always be Twitter. It won't never be X. That's a stupid name. Am I allowed to mute based on that? It's just a question. I mean, I'm just saying, if we got scammers and paid provocateurs and fake MAGA and fake Negroes and all this kind of stuff, can I just mute based on where these people are really coming from? I think it's a fair question for me to ask. Because don't talk to me about niggifying. No, I don't want to hear that coming from nobody based in Ghana. Wait, let me just say one other thing. I just want to say one other thing, fam. I promise you. I promise you. Remember, and if you want more, remember we are always on Monday and Friday at Patreon, patreon.com/ycarnell. But the reason I was so annoyed by this account, then it said that Africa and Kenya, and that's the only thing I can know. I can't know nothing other than your VPN. So don't talk to me about, well, they relocated. No, that ain't who it is. I don't care. Why are we talking about all of this ADOS history? When you go there, there's a lot of ADOS history. Why are we talking about that? I don't understand why we're having a conversation about ADOS history, American descendants of chattel slavery in this country, slavery, the institution of slavery. Why are you, if you are in Kenya somewhere, why are we having this conversation? I don't understand why you are having this conversation. And people kept trying to get mad at me about it, like, because I don't understand why Africans would prefer to tell their own, to tell our story instead of their own story, unless there's something more attractive, unless there's something more liberating, unless there's something more courageous about our story than your story. Why are y'all on this app faking to be Negroes and talking about Negro history unless there's something about our story that you find more moving, right? That gets more traction, that gets more attention than your story. Because Barack Obama didn't get no attention by being Kenyan and white. Barack Obama didn't get no attention by doing that. Barack Obama got attention by mimicking the cadence of MLK, right? By faking a Southern church accent, by faking a Southern Negro accent. He didn't bring nothing from Kenya into that. There was nothing Kenyan about what he used to get the ADOS vote. Well, he went into that church and he faked that accent. He faked the Negro accent. So maybe in this country there is something, and maybe around the world there is something about us that you find attractive. There's something about us that moves souls. That's what the church is about. That's what the ADOS church in this country has always been about. Maybe you need to get honest about what it is about us that is so attractive to people around the world, and why you don't get as much traction when you do stuff based on your own country. And instead of just doing this Twitter stuff, maybe you need to get some of that in you and do the stuff you need to do in your own country. Because y'all have dictators, y'all have despots, just like we got them over here. Maybe there's something you can learn instead of something you can just grift from. Maybe. I mean, maybe that is something that you need to give serious consideration to. And don't keep telling me that, well, Kenyan is black and it's all the same. We don't do flat blackness around here, and we ain't did it in a long time. That stuff is over with. We don't do that stuff no more. We understand it's different. We understand in ways that it doesn't resonate here. And it's not just because this is America. It's because we have a certain tradition in this country that everybody respects, and I don't care what you say about it. We have a tradition of ADOS liberation in this country in terms of how we fight. We have a tradition in this country that's wavering in terms of how we worship. We have a tradition in this country in terms of how we preach. We have a tradition in this country about how we sing. There's a reason why we don't have the singers we used to have, because the singers used to come out the black church. Now they come out the strip club. Hey, it just is what it is. But don't let me get to talking. All these whisper singers, don't let me get off on a tangent. I'm not getting off on no tangent for y'all today. All these whisper singers, ain't no soul in there. Oh, shut up with all that whispering. But I wanted to bring that up because I want to point one more thing out. Because you see, the thing, this account just goes from Africa to I don't know where they was coming from. But all the people who kept saying, well, you know, I don't understand. What's the difference? The difference is it's a different experience. And the difference is you don't get to speak for me just like I don't get to speak for you. Just like this man who said, remember the man who said the Statue of Liberty was donated by France to honor immigrants. He was wrong. He never took it down. And I was like, what's that about? What's going on? Well, you can reveal his account. He's straight out of Canada. Hold on. Wait a minute. The Canada App Store? And he was in the Caribbean? He's a Bahamian, apparently, allegedly, according to this, who lives in Canada. Why are you talking on stuff you don't understand? And you are in Canada, sir. Go sing the Canadian song. Whatever the Canadian song. What's the Canadian national anthem? Go sing that. You don't get to speak on us. These were the foreign actors. These were the ops. It was never us. It was never ADOS. People get mad at the truth. People get mad when you talk about who the real infiltrators were. When you start talking about who the real infiltrators were and where they come from, well, we all black. I don't know what you're talking about. No, don't lie to me. And don't lie to me how we're all the same. I don't want to hear that either. How many of y'all remember this article? Well, let me go to this other article first. People just lie. I've never seen so much lying. It's a lot of lying going on. You may not think, but it is a lot of lying going on. We don't know the difference. Yes, you do. When you come over here, you get gold teeth and a burner boy or whatever. You do a whole bunch of ADOS stuff. You know the difference. And then you'll do all of our stuff, have a bunch of Timberlands on, and then talk about how how we ain't got no culture. Sir, if you don't take all that hip hop gear off. Woo. But let me just this is why a Kenyan account should not be sharing our history. We're not all black the same. Y'all remember this article? I moved to the US from Kenya. I never fully realized I was black until I had a son. See, this is not an experience that we have in this country. Not ADOS. I was cradling my newborn son one night in November 2016 when I suddenly began to sob. Something had dawned on me that filled me with fear. I was the mother of a black son in America. I was born in Kenya and moved to the U.S. after high school to attend college. I have long felt a conflict between my race and nationality. And see, that's another thing. Y'all be so conflicted. And I understand why, but you can't speak for me when you conflicted. I don't need no conflicted, afflicted, nothing to speak on my behalf. You don't understand what it means to be here and to be us. I don't need you speaking on behalf of me. How is that complicated? Until I came to the U.S., I never thought much about race, right? For the first half of my life, I never worried about my blackness or looked at my life through the lens of race. Come on, people. Come on. In Kenya, where more than 90% of the population is black, race was never a factor in how we viewed the world. There I was a person, not a black person. So if you're asking me why you as a Kenyan, this is part of the reason we should never have allowed Obama to speak for us. Not because he grew up here, but the lineage wasn't there. The connection wasn't there. Michelle Obama was the first ADOS woman he'd ever dated. He didn't have no anchoring. And if you find another one, show them to me, because I ain't never heard one come out. There was no anchoring for that. His father couldn't have told him nothing. His father was Kenyan. Even if he did, they didn't have a relationship, really. But his father was Kenyan. It's not the same thing as being ADOS here. We're multi-generationally oppressed slaves who built the country. It's not the same. And the one thing I love about, somebody mentioned Clubhouse to me not too long ago. The one thing I love about that Clubhouse moment is that was an unmasking. You realize that, they hate us. A lot of people hate us. Not everybody, but I'm saying. Those who are allies know they're allies. And I know who they are. But you realize that a lot of folks really, you had people who, I remember one woman broke down in tears because she said, I don't know where I fit. And it's true that you become, because of your proximity to us, things change as generations go, but it's still not a sameness, right? Because lineage matters. It doesn't make you less than, but it matters. You don't get to talk for me if you just got here and, hey, you grew up a place where it was all black people. If you grew up somewhere where it's all black people, how do you know what it is to be the minority in this majority white country? How do you know what it's like to come from sharecropping and slavery and Reconstruction and Jim Crow? How do you know? And if you don't know, how do you know what the fight looks like? That's why I don't want you telling my history. And that's why I don't understand why you wouldn't tell your history. Because you keep telling me that you have history, and I believe you. I believe you. I'm not downplaying your history. You are. By playing around with our stories instead of sharing your own stories and building your own story. Ain't got nothing to do with me. I didn't do that to you. I didn't make you do that. I didn't make you devalue yourself and your people. I didn't make you do nothing like that. I would never do that. That's not me. That's you. And this whole unmasking has been an opportunity for people to look at themselves. Don't look at me. Go look at yourself and go look at what you're doing. Go look at what you're celebrating. Then look how you turn around and tell us we have no history. I don't care who this person is. They got a VPN and they got a that's all I need to know. Don't tell me nothing else. I don't want to hear nothing. I got a bunch of people keep coming around talking about they expats. Now, Yvette, I don't care. Even if you escape hatched. And I know people who escape hatched, but they know they can't talk to me about America if they escape hatched. If you escape hatch, then you escape hatch. God bless you and Godspeed. But you don't get this. Listen, runners don't get to pretend to be fighters. And I'm not saying you can't have a voice, you can't have some kind of, but you can't, listen, we're not the same. You haven't been dealing with what we've been dealing with. The people who are here still get priority. I'm sorry. I love y'all. I got friends who are expats. Love you. I love you. And I love the expats who live in different countries. I love you. But there are expats who support us. And who support the movement. They don't just show up to talk trash. They show up to support. We have expats who left the country and came to the conference. They show up to support. I don't want to hear nothing from y'all who ran off and they never supported and did nothing. And don't never do nothing for your people. Don't even call and check on them. I don't want to hear from y'all. I want to hear from the expats that I talk to, the ones who send money, the ones who come, the ones who say, how y'all doing? Y'all did it. I want to hear from them. Don't talk to me if you somebody, you been gone, you 20 years gone and ain't talk to nobody. Child, go on. You don't have no investment here. You don't care. If you care, you reach out, you're active, you support because you love your people back home. A lot of y'all ain't loving on your people back home. We ain't heard from y'all since y'all left. We had people who at the conference that flew from all the way from a bunch of places. Canada, Ecuador, a bunch, like they care. They care enough to be involved, to support, and they'll tell you how they got what they got, what the ones who left, some of them left generations ago, some of them just left 10, 15, 20 years ago. They'll tell you we still support, we're still active. I don't want to hear nothing from y'all who just show up to criticize. You're going to show up from Ireland just to say some trash. Child, don't nobody care. If you can't show up to support, I don't want to hear your criticism either. Nothing. None of that. I don't want to hear it. You can support from wherever you are. And if you don't, I don't want to hear it. Y'all remember this one? This is my last one. African in America or African American. The struggle is real. The identity struggle they have be real. It is, come on. But this story is instructive. This is again, same thing. Same Kenyan thing. So stop telling me, just because they're in Kenya, stop telling me that. Stop saying stuff to me. Stop lying to me. For instance, take the African foreigner privilege. In Ohio, thirsting for a beer, I walk into the closest bar. Silence. I order a beer and the white guy next to me says, "Where are you from? Where is your accent from?" I say Kenya. Relief. Followed by the words, "Welcome to America. I thought you were one of them." The thirsty writer in me is intrigued. See, that's the difference between you and me too. I'm not intrigued by nothing no racist say to me. But anyway, now that I am on the inside, I can ask, "What do you mean?" "Well, you know how they are." Followed by a litany of stereotypes. Eventually, I say my piece, but the guy looks at me with pity. "You will see what I mean. Never mind that to his welcome to never mind that to his. Oh, that's bad writing. "Welcome to America." I said I had been in the U.S. for 20 years. He's probably wondering why you still have an accent. I don't want to take his side, but he's probably wondering, like, if you've been here 20 years, why you still got an accent. But anyway, the end result of the African foreigner privilege, usually dispensed with condensation, is that Africans are becoming buffers between, this was 2011 when people used to tell the truth, between white and black America. There is now a plethora of reports comparing African students to African American students. The conclusion is that if Africans fresh off the boat are doing better than African Americans who have been here for centuries, then racism can no longer be blamed. But the reports do not consider that just maybe at either Harvard or community college, Africans experience race differently than African Americans. Africans experience a patriotism, experience a patronizing but helpful racism. Patronizing but helpful racism, as opposed to the hostile, threatened, and defensive kind that African Americans grow up with. Racism wears a smile when meeting an African. It glares with hostility when meeting an African American. Now, so I don't even understand the conversation. It's apparent when even your people are saying we're different. Not only are we different, white people view us very differently. That means that I should speak for myself. I should speak for my group. You should speak for your group. That doesn't mean that, like, if you work as a reporter, you don't do reporting. But, like, to have these apps and stuff where you're basically you're cosplaying another identity. And then when I say, hey, this shouldn't happen, you say, why? Well, because you told me that you're different. Even if I didn't know it, you've told me that you're different and you have a different experience here. We should all write from the perspective of lived and inherited experience. You don't have that. So write from your lived and inherited experience. You have much more. This writer has much more lived experience and inherited experience. All their inherited experience is probably from Kenya because they've been here 20 years. And we have more than 20 years of lived experience and inherited experience of ADOS. We should tell our stories and nobody should cosplay our stories. And for me, I don't even understand how that is complicated, right? I don't even understand the argument there. Because I think there are 54 countries in Africa that all deserve to have their stories told. Why are you all obsessing over our stories and obsessing over being here and obsessing with co-opting Essence Festival and Essence and all that stuff? Why don't you build a thing and make it matter to people? Build a thing, whether it's a magazine, whether it's a company, whether it's a movement, build something and make it matter. It's almost like when I remember hearing people talk about, well, Yvette, you should include Black immigrants and their descendants in what you're doing. Hey, I will have solidarity with anybody who has solidarity with me, but hold on a second. Why can't you build your own movement? Why is it, well, this Latinos, that Latino talking about ISIS, new KKK and all this stuff. Why does everything have to hinge on what we do here? At a certain point, you're going to have to learn to tell your own history. And if you don't like your history or you don't feel it's the same or measures up to ADOS history, then that is your job to create better history. Our history comes from fighting, suffering, going through stuff, figuring out a way, doing it again. That's our history. That's our history. That's our music. That's our everything. You have to do that. If you don't have the history, you have to create the thing that's going to give you the history. So when I was talking to that person who said the thing, why don't you include? I said, listen, you have to create that movement. What I co-founded was the ADOS movement. You have to create your movement and then say, hey, Yvette, can we work together? You don't get to just shoehorn into this movement. Listen, we're done with all of that shoehorning where everybody wants to just catch on and be a barnacle and say, include me too. Well, Native Americans want it. Well, Black immigrants want it. No, build a thing. Stop coming to us and having the expectation that you're just going to be included in a thing. Build a thing. Don't cosplay us on Twitter. Angela Rye owes us an apology. Don't do none of that. But you have to build the thing. Too many groups and people avoid doing the thing that people are going to want to talk about. If you just over there, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, and you don't really have the thing and you don't have the movement, then nobody want to talk about it. If you don't have the swag, don't nobody want to talk about it. If you don't have the vocals, if you don't have the politics, if you don't have the people, if you don't, Ain't nobody gonna want to talk about it. So maybe the problem isn't just that you want to talk about us. Maybe the problem is, or cosplay us on Twitter. Maybe the problem is you haven't done the thing that would lead you to be proud enough to play yourself on the internet. Play yourself. That's all I got to say about it. And other than everybody owes us an apology for the fact that calling us something that we were not. You basically called us out of our name and said, and we went through years of being accused of something that we didn't do. And now we find out who the cosplayers was. It's a bunch of foreign MAGA people from a bunch of different countries and some other people who are trying to cosplay us because of reasons that we already told y'all about, but y'all didn't believe us. What you want me to do with that? I can't do nothing with that. But that's all I wanted to say, fam. I just want to come in here and have that conversation because it's just too much, It's just too much. It's just too much tomfoolery going on. And I'm about to come back in here and talk about some other tomfoolery that's going on, but it's just too much. And so I just want to say that, y'all, I'm going to let y'all get out of here. Like I said, I'm going to take too much of your time. If you want to come through on Patreon, we have, we have conversations and stuff like that still. And you can ask questions and make comments and all of that stuff still. We just don't do that on YouTube no more. We just don't do the calls no more here, stuff like that. People started calling in high and arguing all the time. Well, I think if you had $5, you could put that together. And we all put together $5. I can't do it no more. My nerves. But I do it on Patreon because Patreon people are more thoughtful. And so we have thoughtful discussions. But anyway, fam, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to let y'all get out of here. And listen, we'll have a conversation next time. I want y'all to keep it easy breezy. I don't want y'all to bother nobody. Keep your hands to yourself. This Trump administration, everything that's going on is interesting, ain't it? Oh, it's so much messed up stuff going on. We got to get to that too. I missed a lot last week, but I'm going to try to get back to it. All right, fam. Please keep it easy breezy. Please hit the like button. Share. Don't bother nobody. Don't let nobody bother you. And we'll be back next time, okay? All right. For the Patreon crew, I'll see y'all Friday at 2. All right.